A new era in Washington.
From this day forward, it's going to be only America first. America first.
As former President Obama closes his chapter in American history, President Trump is now beginning to write his.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
At high noon, the billionaire businessman was sworn in as the 45th President of the United States, sparking both celebration and protests. Dozens of demonstrators were arrested near the parade route. And here in Jacksonville, whether they support the new president or not, many were keeping an eye on their televisions.
We just have to give God a chance to see what he's going to do first. We don't know.
And looking live at Washington, the inaugural parade is still going on. More than 8,000 people are marching in this traditional American event. In the past 45 minutes, President and Mrs. Trump stepped out of the presidential limousine to briefly walk along the parade route.
They were accompanied by their 10-year-old son, Barron, along with Mr. Trump's grown children and grandchildren. Along with taking over the White House, the new president also takes over former President Obama's Twitter account. The handles officially switched over at 12:01 p.m., right after Mr. Trump was sworn in.
We have complete Inauguration Day coverage, beginning with Channel 4 political reporter Kent Justice live in our nation's capital. Kent?
Yeah, I'm outside the convention center, which is where the official inaugural ball begins at 7 o'clock tonight. So we've got the District of Columbia Metropolitan Police right here, kind of guarding this entrance. And I understand a little bit after now, they're going to open that up. And there's a big security sweep that will happen after that, of course. All these folks are lined up to go to a party tonight, right? Going to the ball, and it stretches down here, down 7th. We're on Massachusetts right now. We're at 7th Street and K Street for the time being. How about this? There's always a Florida connection, right? Right across the street, if you can see this, this gentleman came from Orlando to sell his painting of President Trump, American Eagle, American flag, Washington Monument behind him. Looks like he's sitting on the seat like in the Lincoln Memorial there as well. I want to tell you, I've talked to some folks today who attended the inauguration and got some feedback from them. I want to share some of that with you, including from Gloria Chandler. She's from Ponte Vedra Beach. We actually met in the airport coming in the other day. She said she was volunteering at the inauguration. Here's what she said. Hard to find the words. Proud, optimistic, amazed, and humbled. And then saddened by protesters, citizens, and politicians who plan to stand in the way. This is my America. Also spoke with our friend John Allen Newman. He's a pastor in Jacksonville for a long time, political strategist as well. He said, I thought he gave a thoughtful and respectful speech overall. I hope he continues to pursue this path. The country needs it, talking about President Trump's Inauguration Day address. We know that, as you mentioned, the parade's still going on. It's a little longer maybe than usual, but 8,000 folks involved in that. In the meantime, these people are lining up because the Freedom Ball, the Liberty Ball, they happen inside the convention center, and these are the official inaugural balls, so they expect President Trump and the First Lady to come in and take that traditional dance and be part of the celebrations tonight. Live in Washington, Kent Justice, Channel 4, the local station.
Kent, we've been following the protests, too. They were at various places in the nation's capital today, including entrances for people who wanted to go into the inauguration ceremony. But it doesn't look like there are any protesters where you are now, just people who are going to the ball.
At this point, that's the case. When we arrived about an hour ago, there were not protesters or demonstrators, but maybe street preachers. There were some folks who came by waving signs, and they weren't pro or anti-President Trump necessarily, but they did have their bullhorn on and a message to convey, and they kind of walked right through the people who were trying to stand here and get in line. But it hasn't happened in this specific location. Now, I did mention we're at K Street and we're at 7th, so 5, 6, 7 blocks away is where some of those demonstrators who were arrested got into trouble earlier this afternoon, Tom.
Ken, how much longer before the doors open to the Walter Washington Convention Center so that these people can go inside?
Right. Right. Well, I was told it would be 5 o'clock. Of course, we're just a little bit past 5 o'clock right now. I'm also seeing some folks who are maybe the best dressed people you'll see on the planet tonight, but also with the coats on because it's a little chilly. Are you thankful it's not rainy?
Yes.
See, there was supposed to be rain all throughout the day, so we're glad that that was not really the case. But, Tom, it's a great question. Hopefully those doors open to get into security and then to the Freedom Ball pretty soon.
Kent Justice reporting live from Washington. Thank you, Kent.
The Duval County Republican Party hosted an inauguration watch party at a St. Nicholas restaurant.
Channel 4's Chris Parento was there. He's joining us live with some local voters' reaction to what they heard and saw today in Washington. Chris?
Tom, there was a lot of excitement from these folks here as they were getting ready to go inside of Mudville Grill today, talking about how they've been looking forward to this day since Election Day. They say now they just wait and see how Mr. Trump is as the next president. A historic day, no matter what your politics may be. The transition from one president to the next is always must-see TV. Many were keeping an eye on the television, whether they support President Trump or not. A loud applause for Donald Trump as he made his way to Capitol Hill today at the Republican watch party at Mudville Grill. A few dozen supporters filled the restaurant, waiting to hear from Mr. Trump for the first time as Commander-in-Chief. Protected by the great men and women of the buzz across town at Just Cut Loose Barbershop on Fort Caroline Road was also about the new leader of the free world.
Some people are with him, some people are not. You know, some people speak on it, some people don't. To me, it's not a race thing or a color thing. We just in a time, and we just have to give God a chance to see what he's gonna do first. We don't know.
At this barbershop, the talk occasionally turns to politics. When it does, Gordon Polite says he is thankful it's an open conversation.
We joke about it, you know, we laugh, and people make comments or whatever, but in this spot that we're in, we have to do that.
And as barbers take care of the customers, the focus is on more than just who the president is. It's on the community they live and work in.
We have to stay focused and focus on the bigger picture. The world's gonna take care of itself, of course. We can't do nothing about that. That's on a plane that we can't see.
I'm Crystal Moyer, and during the inauguration, I went to school. Students at Bishop Kenny High in St. Nicholas got a lesson about the process behind the transfer of presidential power.
The oath of office is actually prescribed in the Constitution. So what the Chief Justice recites is in the Constitution, except for the last piece.
So help me God.
Academic dean and U.S. history teacher Michael Broche also brought to their attention the event had the most prayers with 3 invocations and 3 benedictions.
It was just a diverse population there this year that I don't remember that specifically from last election.
The students and teachers here at Bishop Kenny High thought it was really important that they witness this historic event. Every American history class was airing it even in the cafeteria, so those students who are eating lunch can see the inauguration as well. Today, the red hats were on in class, this ceremony being an exception to the no hat rule. 11th grader Kelly Vore says she's a big supporter of President Donald Trump.
And I was so excited to see him because I just know that he can bring change and it's going to be a new, fresh America for us.
But others didn't seem too excited to witness history in the making. Either way, the students tell me it's important to learn about the democratic process early on because they want to be ready to take on the responsibility of voting when they turn 18.
If you don't understand the whole process, if you don't understand, you are actually a part of picking the president.
Crystal Moyer, Channel 4, the local station.
Thank you, Crystal. Today's big story continues on news4jax.com. You can find a slideshow of some of the biggest moments from the inauguration.